Hi, everybody, and happy Tuesday. I'm KHOU 11 meteorologist Pat Cavlin here with a look at the latest on this winter storm that's overtaking a good part of the area. It is now early into Tuesday morning. It's 1:30 in the morning, and we are seeing some pretty moderate to heavy sleet fall across the city right now. This is a live look from the Gulf Freeway. Ordinarily, in the distance back here, you'd be able to see the Houston skyline. Visibility, though, starting to come down with that heavier sleet mixing with snow moving over the city. And you can see, notice these ramps here along the Gulf Freeway, all turning white now. That's not snow, it is sleet. So remember, sleet are just ice pellets. Basically, the snow melts as it falls through a warm layer in the atmosphere, and then before it hits the ground, it refreezes as it comes into contact with colder air. And that refreezing turns it from water droplets or semi-melted snowflakes back into ice pellets. And so those ice pellets are now coating the roadways here just south of downtown along I-45. A different perspective of this same phenomenon here up in the Grand Parkway. This is up on the northwest side of Harris County. And you can see these roads just totally covered with sleet and snow. Not a ton of snow coming down here. You can tell because visibility isn't that bad. Notice you can see these lights going all the way into the distance. So we're not seeing terribly heavy snow or sleet across a large part of the area right now, but it is coming down in a few spots, and of course that's been enough to coat the roads. Different perspective now from Rice Military. You can see we're looking out towards River Oaks. The wind is gusting, and that's making it feel so much colder. Air temperatures right now at 30 degrees, but it feels like 18 degrees thanks to that wind, and that's going to continue as we go through the rest of the overnight and into tomorrow. 27 right now, your current temperature in Edo, 29 for Humble, 30 in Tomball and Jersey Village, 31 for Stafford and Hobby. Same for Katy, 29 for Fulshire, 30 in Manville, and 29 in Baytown. On the wider shot, a lot of 20s the farther north you go, from Liberty to Huntsville, College Station, Columbus now at 29 degrees. Still above freezing, but 1 degree closer to the freezing mark. And Angleton and Galveston both at 33 degrees right now, along with Palacios. Everybody else, though, now finally below freezing. So even though we're below freezing, we're not seeing pure snow everywhere still, and that's just because it has to do with some warmer air in the upper levels of the atmosphere. Winter storm warnings, though, still in effect for all of southeast Texas, and it's not just that. They go from the U.S.-Mexico border all the way across the northern Gulf Coast out towards places like southern South Carolina, out towards Charleston. This is about 1,300 miles of winter storm warnings that are in effect for this really large and impactful storm. So here's a look at radar. Wherever you see the blue indicates snow. However, we're not seeing just pure snow out there right now. We're seeing a lot of those ice pellets mix in, and the radar is having a really hard time distinguishing between what is snow and what is mixed precipitation. So we've been using a lot of ground reports from folks all over southeast Texas that have been reporting sleet, and that's how we kind of know what's going on. We could see it out here at our studios along Westheimer and the Galleria, that even though it looks blue here, we are seeing those ice pellets as the primary precip out there at the moment. So again, a lot of ice pellets falling across Harris County. As we go a little farther to the north, though, I think we have started to make that change over to snow, but notice drier air just to the north of Huntsville is starting to chip away at that snow. So this is where I think those snow totals, or the potential snow totals, will drop off pretty quickly, just because this will be short-lived for those northern areas like Huntsville, like Livingston, getting up towards Madisonville and Crockett, back into College Station as well. Down to the south, again, a lot of blue on the map, but we know from those ground observations, from the warmer air temperatures, that this isn't just snow, it's sleet, it's freezing rain. So a lot of those ice pellets, the primary concern for the coastal areas, and then rain as you get out towards the Gulf of Mexico. On the wider shot, you can see what's happening. Our area of low pressure is developing down again towards Brownsville, so it's just pumping up tons of moisture into the area, and that's interacting with the cold air that's in place, and that's why we're getting that wintry precipitation, the snow, the sleet, and the freezing rain. The biggest potential for freezing rain is going to be out through South Texas, so places like Corpus Christi, San Antonio, getting into Victoria. The biggest snow potential is going to be generally in here along I-10 from Houston out towards New Orleans, And I think the biggest potential for sleet, those ice pellets, will be somewhere in this general area. So a lot of overlapping here, and that's pretty much what we've been seeing so far this evening, are those different forms of precipitation falling, snow, ice pellets, and freezing rain. So that overlapping will continue as we get into tomorrow. There's future track going through the rest of the evening. It's a mixed bag. It's sleet, it's snow. I do still think that by tomorrow morning, everyone is seeing snow at some point, especially across the city of Houston. And we've even seen live cameras from Edo that are just depicting plain snow. So it is starting to reach the city, but it is taking its time to see that changeover. This precip, though, will continue beyond sunrise and up until about mid-morning before things start to wrap up. Notice 8 to 9 a.m., areas like Huntsville, Livingston, Conroe, Brenham, Columbus starting to wrap things up. Still seeing the snow in the city, and Galveston down along the coastline is getting into the worst of it. By mid-morning, let's say 10 to 11 a.m., that line is starting to push down to the south. Coastal spots are still seeing snow, but the city and points north and west are all totally looking at drier conditions. And then eventually, once we get beyond noon into the afternoon, the storm moves to the east and sunshine starts to take over, which will help with melting as we get into the afternoon. Snow totals still look like this. We may come just shy of some of these numbers, or we may end up on the lower end of these totals. So 2 to 3 inches across southeast Texas, not out of the question. It's still within those ranges. We did include some of these bigger numbers, like the 5-inch upper end of this range, to account for the fact that if the snow really picks up towards tomorrow morning, if we get snow bands that develop, that's where we could push some of those totals into the higher realm. Right now, though, it is looking like some of the lower end totals will be more of a likely possibility for a large part of the area, but we could get pockets that go 3, 4, 5 inches by the time this is all said and done. I do think the best chance to see some heavy accumulating snow is going to be out in this area as we get to tomorrow morning. But again, we need that full changeover to snow for that to happen. So this is just how things look at the moment. We'll see where we end up by tomorrow, but there will be snow out there. It just depends on how long that sleet sticks around. Bottom line, though, whether it's ice pellets or it's snow, it's a crippling winter storm. Roads are shut down for the most part, or at least are becoming very dangerous to drive on, especially now that we have that sheet of ice, that sleet accumulation that's on the ground that's going to set the stage for the snow. Air travel totally completely halted. Both airports are shut down, and the storm will keep going here for the next few hours. Now, the storm is gone by midday Tuesday. However, that's not where our concerns end, because extreme cold then comes in behind the storm tomorrow night into Wednesday morning. Look at some of these temperatures by Wednesday. As you wake up Wednesday morning, widespread temperatures, everyone will end up in the low to mid-teens. That's pipe-busting weather. The good news is it doesn't stick around for a long time. The temperatures drop Tuesday night, and then we're back to the 40s by Wednesday afternoon. But if we get a prolonged 6 to 8 hour period with temperatures in the teens and 20s, that is going to be that could be trouble for some of us here across southeast Texas. Bottom line, though, it's dangerous cold, and it is going to refreeze anything that melts Tuesday afternoon. So keep that in mind. Anything that looks wet, the next few nights, if the ground looks wet and the temperatures are below freezing, you got to treat it as if it were ice. Just keep that in mind when you're walking around or while you're driving. That's going to be a major concern for us as we see melting during the afternoons and refreezing for several days getting into the upcoming week. So that's the latest we got for you. A lot of sleet, a lot of mixed, messy, gross winter weather out there right now. Hopefully we get that pure changeover to snow at some point in the next few hours to at least make things look a little bit prettier. Nobody wants to deal with ice. Snow definitely a lot easier to handle. We are going to be doing another update coming up at an hour. Cheetah Craft and Chris Ramirez will be here in the morning to guide you through everything. We're going to be on top of this storm all the way through tomorrow morning with live continuous coverage also starting at 4 a.m. That's the latest. Stay hunkered down, stay safe, and stay warm as we deal with this storm moving through the area.